Back in 2004, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg delivered what's arguably the greatest zombie comedy of all time, being Shaun of the Dead. This very first installment of the Cornetto trilogy is incredibly clever, hilarious, and surprisingly heartfelt. But every time I watch it, I can't help but wonder, how did Shaun and his crew manage to fumble the bag so badly? I mean, when you really look at it, this might be one of, if not the most survivable zombie outbreaks ever put to screen. So with that in mind, today we're going to be breaking down the undead threat, the nature of the outbreak, and what it would actually take in order to make it through Z-Day alive. So sit back, relax, grab a cold one, and wait for this video to blow over. As per usual, in order to determine your odds of survival, we must first break down the primary threat you'll be contending with in this particular disaster scenario. And the primary threat to your safety will, of course, be the undead. Although, you'll soon come to see, the term threat is really overselling just how dangerous these slow, rotting, flat-footed lame brains really are. For starters, these zombies move about as slow as fucking molasses. I mean, just look at how much time Shaun and Ed have to shift through a box of old vinyl records. They're also pretty weak, given that it takes two of them forever to break through Shaun's glass doors. Well, now that I think about it, they can be pretty strong when they want to be, as they ripped apart adult Harry Potter into pieces later on in the movie. So, I guess we could say their striking strength or attack potency isn't really as impressive as their raw physical strength. That being said, these undead dingbats are pretty durable. Mary had her back blown out by a lead pipe, and Ed had this undead fuck it in the Family Guy ragdoll pose. And in both instances, the zombies were totally fine. Although I must mention that the zombie with the broken legs obviously lost a significant amount of its already lackluster mobility. And as it turns out, the only way to kill these things is to destroy the brain, just like your classic Romero zombies. But you won't really need to worry about fighting these numbskulls, as you could just outwalk them. Or, more hilariously, just pretend to be one of them and they'll fucking fall for it. And check this out, if you ever decide to run through a horde of these bird brains in desperation, you'll probably get through just fine without a damn scratch, just as Shaun and Diane managed to accomplish. Yes, that's right, Diane is actually still alive. So based on this, we can easily deduce that these zombies clearly aren't fast enough to grab a running target, even at point-blank range. Nevertheless, you don't want to get bit by any of these knuckleheads, or you'll eventually end up involuntarily switching teams. Once bit, the zombie pathogen will run its course in just a few hours, killing its host and then reanimating them within a few seconds to a few minutes. And as of now, I cannot really determine whether or not infected bodily fluids can infect you. But given that Shaun gets plenty of red on him, and he doesn't turn, it might just be safe to conclude that only bites transfer the zombie contagion. But as a general rule of thumb, it's always safe to just assume that infected bodily fluids are contagious. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that these undead artards are attracted to light and loud noises. So clearly you'll want to keep the lights off and you'll want to avoid making unnecessarily loud noises. So, the exact cause of Z-Day isn't exactly confirmed in the film, but there are some subtle but striking hints, like the newspapers referencing genetically modified crops, a fast-spreading virus, and a quote superflu. We can hence reasonably infer that the outbreak was man-made, airborne at first, and definitely confined to the UK. Beyond that, the movie keeps things purposefully vague, which adds to the satire. But for the purpose of a video like this, such a lack of information makes this segment rather dull. Look guys, I'ma be honest with y'all. This is a pretty easy to survive zombie uprising. If you're not one of the people who succumbed to the airborne strain of the virus early on, which it seems many people are fairly immune to, then you're likely not gonna fucking die. The undead are too slow to be a threat, too stupid to be a threat, too weak to be a threat, and the primary vector of spread for this outbreak relies on physical contact with entities slower than a fucking slug. Just as we saw in the film, it's basically a damn certainty or guarantee that the military will eventually arrive and save the day. Which means all you gotta do is find a safe place, lay low, and wait for all of this shit to blow over. I mean, just look at the aftermath of Z-Day. The British literally started using the undead as low-skilled labor and for entertainment. Shaun literally plays fucking video games with his zombified friend in his backyard shed. You really gotta be fantastically stupid or just supremely unlucky to die in this regional incident. It's a real shame that Shaun and his crew had the collective IQ of a walnut, as simply staying at Liz's apartment would have saved everyone, with the exception of Philip. Simply barricade all stairways, shut the blinds and curtains, ration food and water, plenty of which could have been easily gathered at the grocery store, and all they had to do was stay quiet, wait, and the military would have liberated them in less than 24 hours. All in all, it would be safe to say that you, an avid fan of the zombie genre, could easily survive this hilariously dumb zombie outbreak. Anyways, if you like this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell as well, that way you may be notified when I publish a new video. And also remember that you may opine anytime if you feel so inclined down in the comments section. I'm Captain Gold and hope to see you in my next Gold Standard video.